Namaste and welcome, dear friends, to today's Bhagavad Gita class. Let us begin our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Bhagwan Krishna, Jesus Christ, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashay, Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji, Beloved Gurudev Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, Saints and sages of all religions, humbly we bow at thy feet. Beloved Lord Krishna, thou art the essence of everything. Help us to feel thee, to realize thee in every thought, every emotion, in every fiber of our being. Dear Lord, we are thy children, bring us home. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us now sing the hymn to Brahma and a chant to invoke the presence of God and the Gurus. You may sing with me or use this time to interiorize your attention. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilakshayam Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tvam Namami. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Let us sing the simple chant, Hey Bhagwan. And when we address Bhagwan, according to your own feeling, you may address the formless, infinite Brahman as Bhagwan, or you may call upon your Ishta Devata or a particular form of God like Krishna or Rama or Divine Mother, whatever is closest to your heart. As you chant, Hey Bhagwan, call upon that God form for you. And let it become so personal that you are, as if God is listening to you right now as you are calling His name. Hey Bhagavan, Hey Bhagavan, Hey Bhagavan, Hey Bhagavan, Hey Bhagavan. Let us sit in the meditative pose. Let us keep our spine straight, our gaze upwards, our hearts open. As you gaze deeply upwards at the spiritual eye, go into the space behind the eyes, the spaciousness, the darkness or the light, whatever you perceive. Go into that space and relax there. Take a few long deep breaths and integrate yourself. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Dear friends, welcome to the 50th class of the Bhagavad Gita. We are studying chapter 6, and in the last class, we studied from shloka numbers 19 to 26, 27. So we will revise what we did last time, and then we'll proceed from there. So in shloka number 19, Krishna says to Arjuna, the illustration of an unflickering flame of light in a windless spot may be used in reference to a yogi who has conquered the chitta by the practice of meditation on the self. So here we discussed how when in a room there is a candle or a diya and the flame is unflickering, there is no wind entering that room, then the light that the diya gives, the flame that it gives, one thing is that the flame is very stable. The other thing is that the light that pervades in the room because of the flame, that is very stable. So the all pervasiveness of the light of the flame in the room is very stable, unflickering, unmoving. But as soon as a gust of wind enters through a window, not only the flame flickers, but also the light that is pervading inside the room, that also flickers. So when this is an example that has been given. So when we have silenced our chitta, when we have quietened our chitta by the practice of yoga techniques, by meditation, then we can perceive. So when the flickering of the breath is stopped and the flickering of the thoughts is stopped, then in that stillness we can perceive the all-pervading effulgent light of the Atman, of our own self, of Brahman, of God. And that is where we have to reach. And in fact, Yogananda ji has described this light which is unflickering, which is always there. It's just that we are not aware of it. Because why are we not aware of it? Because our attention, our mind is on the thoughts in our mind, on the emotions, and on the sense data that is we are receiving from the outside world. But once by yoga practice we quieten all of this, then suddenly we will be aware of our own effulgence. And Master said that the effulgence of God is when you have that experience, it's like 1,000 of suns, shining together, and yet the light is so mellow that it does not hurt you. It's a beautiful, mellow light. And in the second coming of Christ, Master said that if you would have a vision of God, then you would have it as if God is a mass of light. So you will feel God as light, you will see God as light, you will experience God as light. And so many people who have had near-death experiences tell us when they come back to this world awareness, they tell us that either they were in the light directly or they passed through a tunnel which led them to a light, and the light was a very soft light, although it was very beautiful and it was glowing, and yet it was a soft light, and there was a love pervading. That light was impregnated with love, and just by being in that light they could feel bliss and they could feel love. So that is the unflickering light that we are eventually intending to go, and that will happen when we are able to quieten our mind and our breath. In shloka number 20, Krishna says, so from 20 to 23, basically, Krishna explains that what is the state of a yogi who is, getting perfected in his samadhi. So in shloka number 20, he says, in the state of complete tranquility of chitta, the ego perceives itself as the soul and is content in the soul self. So in the previous verse, he said that once the chitta is stilled, then that experience comes. So here also, this is continuing. So we want to transcend the ego because the ego is limited, and that's what Krishna is saying. Once you have conquered the chitta, have subdued the chitta, then automatically the ego will merge into the self, and you as pure awareness, the self itself, will be happy and contented to rest in your soul self, rather behave as a separate ego. Shloka number 21, Krishna says, in that state, the yogi experiences the highest bliss, which is beyond the senses, but grasped by the meditation purified intellect. So again, he's saying that that light or that existence of the soul self is permeated with bliss, but it cannot be perceived by the senses. The senses can perceive only objects, which certain things that can be objectified, and that too only in a particular frequency or wavelength adapted to the human body. But the light that is being talked about, the light of God or the light of your own atman, that is going to be perceived by the purified intellect, and the purified intellect is developed by all the paths of yoga. As you do service to others in karma yoga, as you love God in bhakti yoga, as you contemplate on your soul self and you question your own existence in jnana yoga, and as you meditate, all of these paths will help to purify the intellect, and in that purified intellect, the light of the atman will automatically start to shine. In shloka number 22, Krishna says, once this supreme state is attained, it is never lost, and one cannot imagine a greater gain. Anchored in this divine realization, one becomes free from sorrow. So, three things have been said here. So, once you are established in that state, then point number one, Krishna says that this state will never be lost. So that means, of course, he's talking about not only Savikalpa but Nirvikalpa Samadhi as well. We will go into that later. But basically, once your intuition is able to grasp the infinitude or omnipresence of your own being, even once if you have the experience, then you can easily command it. You can easily, it doesn't never goes out of your memory. So for example, if you read a book, you've read something in history or geography or mathematics, a formula in physics, you have read it in school, and now you want to recollect it, and in your memory it's not coming because so many other thoughts have come over it, so you're not able to remember it. But Krishna is saying that once you have the experience of what it feels to be infinite, even if it is for a fraction of a second, and especially if it is stabilized, then there is no returning. It is an irreversible phenomenon, and you will be able to perceive it. Now the only homework that remains after that is to stabilize that experience. But that even once if your intuition tells you that yes, oh yes, I am the soul, then it never leaves you. So that is point number one in this shloka. The other thing he says is, this is a gain which is greater than any gain, and you cannot imagine anything else which is greater than this gain. And why do you think this could be the highest gain? Is because once you're in the body and mind, we are limited egos. But when we know our omnipresence, then automatically everything becomes part of us. We become part of everything. And then obviously there can be nothing higher than that. The unfulfilled, the incomplete creatures that we feel in ourselves, we suddenly feel very complete and fulfilled and at peace with our own existence as soul, because that is as omnipresent as God is. That is the definition of God realization or self-realization. The third important thing he says in this shloka is that such a person becomes free from sorrow. And we also want to be free from sorrow. And therefore, if we follow the guidelines given by the Gita, and if we follow the teachings given by our Guru Paramahansa Yogananda, both of them promise that if we follow these techniques of yoga, we will be free from misery, free from sorrow. In a sense, we will attain moksha. And shloka number, and also very interesting thing. So here, as he's saying, it is never lost. So you should never judge anybody, even on the road or even if they are in office. You never know their state of inner, enlightenment. You don't know. So it could be even a beggar on the roadside may have that sense of omnipresence. You never know. and a person, working in a shop. So don't judge anybody from the superficial appearance, but just feel it in your heart. And if you see them as a continuation of your own self, then automatically you will not judge them. So we are all on a journey, and that is why we are on earth. Some have attained some level of understanding, some level of enlightenment. So of course, I'm not talking of the full final enlightenment, but people are in the various degrees of increased, expanded awareness. So, and you do not know by their clothes, by their status, by their physical appearance, you do not know their inner spiritual status. So it's best to stay away from judging others, from gossiping about others, and so on and so forth. Just mind your own, spiritual growth and stay with that. Try to stabilize it as much as you can. Shloka number 23. This freedom or disconnection from sorrow is called yoga. It should be practiced with determination and unwavering resolve. If we want to be free from sorrow, if we want that bliss of the soul, then we need determination and we need unwavering resolve. So, when people put in effort into their life or whatever, some project they have to do or some goal they have kept, there are three types of people who put in effort. So, the first kind would say that the goal is too high for me, it's too big, I don't think it's achievable, I don't think it's possible for me, so let me not put any effort at all. There is a second class of people who, with enthusiasm, start to put in effort, do get certain results, but as soon as any difficulty, challenge, or obstacle comes, they kind of withdraw. They say, oh, it's too hard, it's getting too hard, let me withdraw. So either they will go into a dormant state, or they will recede back into their growth and not try to override the challenge with the energy. The third class of people is those who say, come what may. I have decided that I'm going to reach the goal of self-realization in this life, and I will achieve it whatever happens to the body. Even if my mind is not very clear, I will keep trying. So they will run when they can run, they will walk when they can walk, they will crawl when they can crawl, but they will not leave sight of their goal and they will not jump out of the path. So ask yourself, which category to which category do you belong? And the Gita advises you should have unwavering resolve. You should determine that I want absolute, permanent, unconditional bliss. It is my birthright and I am going to have it. My Guru has already told me how to achieve it. Let me just walk on his footsteps. Shloka number 24. Relinquish without exception all longings and completely control the sense organs by your mind. So the question comes, Gita has simply said in a statement, you should relinquish all longings. A question comes, why should I relinquish longings? If I want my self-realization, if I want God, is it necessary that I have to leave all my desires and longings? The answer is yes, yes, yes. And the reasons are the following. The first is that longing belongs to the ego. So when the soul is identified with the body, it becomes a separate ego. Then it feels the lack and then it wants to desire from the world. On the other hand, God is not an object that you can have. He is your own self. It is the subject itself. So that shift from ego to soul understanding will come only when you relinquish a longing, because longing is usually for the objects of this world and God is not an object. You, the atman, is the subject and not an object. The second reason for leaving longing is that longings will create restlessness. We know that once there's a desire and there is an attachment, then you want things of this world, then this will bring in appropriate thoughts, it will bring associated emotions, and then this will cause so many waves and ripples in the lake of your mind that this is going against or opposite to the direction of chitta vritti nirodha where we want to go. So therefore longings are opposite to where we want to go. We should not have longings. The third is, God is found in surrender and not in striving. Yoganandaji's words, he says, you will never find God in seeking him restlessly. When all desires are stilled and you are no longer striving, then he comes. Fourth reason, pure divine love is beyond any wanting, any longing, any transaction. So, a type of a devotee may say, I long for you, Lord, please come to me. But then the higher type of devotee, the one who has left longing, he says, come if you will, or hide if you must. I love you still. And that is where we want to reach. Why? Because there is no way God can escape from us. Because He is ourself. Once we understand this, and sometimes in my prayer, in my personal interaction with God, I do tell him, I said, you cannot go anywhere. You're omnipresent. Where will you hide? You cannot hide. So God cannot hide from us. We are hiding from Him. So once you understand that, then you will not have longing for any other things, knowing that longing is going against the path with where you want to go. Okay, so shloka number 25. Gradually, step by step, with firm determination and steady intellect, one should withdraw the mind from external objects and fix it on the self alone. So again, here we want to withdraw all our energy which is going outwards and towards the world, and then we, by the power of our mind, we will control the sense organs. Then we will stabilize our energy in the astral spine. Then with the practice of pranayama, we can raise it and bring it up, and then still the entire process of the body, mind, and the breathing complex. Shloka number 26. Whenever the fickle and restless mind wanders away, for whatever reason, let the yogi withdraw it from the distractions and return it to the sole control of the self. So very clear instruction by Sri Krishna. He's saying the mind will wander, but as soon as it wanders, as many times as it wanders, you bring it back. Cut off the distractions that are around you, and then bring it back under your control. This brings us to the next shloka that we're going to study, and that is shloka number 27. We actually did touch upon this a little last time, but let me repeat it because it will help us in continuity. Prashant manasam hyonam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti shantarajasam brahmabhutam kalmasham. वह योगी जिसने अपने मन को पूर्ण रूप से शांत कर लिया है तथा जिसने अपने आवेगों को नियंत्रित कर लिया है एवं उन्हें सभी दोषों से मुक्त कर लिया है और जो ब्रह्म के साथ एक है, वास्तव में उसने परमानंद को प्राप्त कर लिया है. The yogi who has completely calmed the mind and controlled the passions and freed them from all impurities, and who is one with spirit, verily, he has attained supreme blessedness. Of course, this is an extension of what we've been already studying, but here Master adds on. He says, now this is describing the state of Savikalpa Samadhi. This person has already conquered the senses by the mind. He has already been able to still his mind. He is already resting in that supreme blessedness. He has cleared the impurities of the mind, which includes all the dual nature of this world, the associated desires and attachment, the associated likes and dislikes. He has already reached to this point. And then Master says, the yogi attains a deep interiorized state of samadhi in which his blissful oneness with spirit is accompanied by bodily fixation. So he is explaining the state of Savikalpa Samadhi. A person is meditating, he is pure in his heart and mind, he is experiencing the blessedness of contact with spirit. Here his body becomes fixed, immobile, and even it goes into a state of suspended animation. So this is the state of Savikalpa. Now an extension of this we will find in shloka number 28, which is again a continuation of the same thought. And here Krishna says, Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogi vigat kalmasha sukhena brahma sansparsha matyantam sukham mashnute. सभी दोषों से मुक्त हुआ योगी इस प्रकार निरंतर आत्मा को योग के कार्य में लगाता हुआ ब्रह्म में नित्य लीन रहने के आनंद को सहज ही प्राप्त कर लेता है. The yogi, free from all impurities, ceaselessly engaging the self, thus in the activity of divine union, readily attains the blessedness of continuous mergence in spirit. So what is the additional thing that has come here? A continuous mergence in spirit. That means not only does the yogi experience blessedness during the state of Savikalpa Samadhi when he is sitting in meditation, but even when he wakes up, gets up from meditation, even in the midst of all worldly duties or all activities that is performing, his perception that his soul is one with the omnipresent spirit, that continues, that stays, and is completely stabilized. So from Savikalpa Samadhi, he enters into a state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and that has been, the word Sahaj has been used. So it is easy for him, it is natural for him that he is always perceives the union of soul and spirit. The Atman and the Paramatman is one, and now from that state of realization, he functions in this world, and that is the state from where all the gurus and saints work. And that is why no, they are much beyond karma. And being in that state of super consciousness or Christ consciousness, they can easily then see then the position where we are. And it's like they are on the top of a mountain and we are struggling to at the base of the mountain, or maybe some are climbing in some way, some are spiraling around the mountain. But from that clear vision, the guru can easily see where we are standing, on which path we are, how many more obstacles are there in front of us, what is the karma baggage that we are carrying on our backs, and then they can help us in our trek upwards on the mountain, because they have already reached that state of omnipresence. They live in the, it appears that they are living and acting and eating normally, and yet they are in a state of continuous communion with spirit, with God, and they act from that level, and they are, that is why they are in Sahaj Samadhi, or it's natural to them, it's easy for them. Okay. Master says the 28th stanza speaks of the yogi who remains free, the enjoyer of cosmic bliss, during the state of activity also, when his mind returns to its normal external functions. Okay, and this he says that step by step the yogi learns when his Savikalpa Samadhi becomes very deep, and then that is carried forward into his activity. So it doesn't happen overnight. So many of us may have certain small experiences or that touch of that infinite peace in ourselves. For sometimes it may be momentary, it may be just a flash, or it may last for a few seconds to a few minutes, but then by persistence, by continuously repeating the process, by meditating deeply, longer meditation, we will increase that time duration, and slowly over a period of time we can come to a point where we know that even when eyes are open or eyes are closed, whether we are sitting still or doing something, even then that continuity is maintained. So master advises us, he says every yogi should therefore refuse to succumb to the invasion of restlessness during meditation. The fully accomplished yogi can move about in the world of relativity, unstained by its dualities, remaining steadfastly in the blessed state of Brahma Samsparsha, the bliss of the touch of spirit. So when, and as it is said, once the bliss of spirit touches you, that memory always remains, and that is, it becomes your goal. You want to have more and more of that experience, and that should become your incentive. Then firstly, it should be your incentive to have at least one taste of that bliss of the soul, of that peace that is, it is unfathomable peace which is within your own soul. Once you have that experience even once, then that becomes your guide. It becomes like a pole star, and you know that it can be achieved. It is achievable. You've touched it once, therefore it is available to you if you want. And therefore in fact, your effort, rather than decreasing, should start to increase, so that it intensifies and you are able to hold on to that experience, to stabilize that experience more and more into your consciousness. So this brings us to shloka number 29. सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शन। योग द्वारा आत्मा को परमात्मा से एक रूप करके सबके प्रति समदृष्ट रखकर तब योगी अपनी आत्मा को सब जीवों में और सब जीवों को परमात्मा में देखता है। With the soul united to spirit by yoga, with the vision of equality for all things, the yogi beholds his self, spirit united, in all creatures and all creatures in spirit. Now, this is a beautiful verse. And here, so let us understand that we all think that we are separate. The fact that we see each other as separate, it just means that we are living from the ego. If we were living from the soul level, then we would see the unity of all of us. But it is because we are living from the level of the ego, therefore we see things as different, as separate from us. And what the yogi has achieved, or the sage has achieved, is he has transcended the ego. He is not identified with one body. And because he is not identified with one body, he has attained that state of omnipresent consciousness. Therefore, he knows that the same consciousness which is traversing his body, which is immanent and transcendent in his body, is also immanent and transcendent in all bodies. So when he says I, then he does not mean to the name, the personality, or the body which it is right now. But when it says I, it refers to the soul self, the larger, infinite, one existence consciousness bliss. And that is all pervading. And that is why he can say that I am one with all creatures and all creatures are one with me. They are all in me and I am in them. And that continuity he perceives all the time. Okay, and that is why also because he sees others as an extension of himself, therefore automatically there is love and compassion. But the enlightened one will realize that the others who appear, they are still living in their egos. But he himself knows that he exists in and through all of them. So then he also, and because he has transcended the ego, has gone through all the pleasure and painful, sequences of conditions that we go through. So therefore, he has infinite compassion for the one who is still fighting with the ego. That is why the gurus come again and again and again, because they know that we are trapped in our ego self, that we need help and guidance, and it takes immense effort, and it takes an help of the guru, help of the saint, help of God to actually come out of our state of existence, because we are completely bewildered, living through only five senses, and that also limited, living through a body, and living in a drama which appears to us as so real. We are just like in a cage or in a blind spot. We don't know what's happening, why it's happening, where we are. Therefore, the Guru shines his light from the outside, or actually that outside is the inside of us. And then he awakens us. He tells us who we really are, that we are the soul. And actually, he tells us that withdraw your engagement with the outside world. Come into yourself, and you will know that all of this is one, that this separateness is only a dream creation by the Maya of God. Okay. So, shloka number 30. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. जो व्यक्ति मुझे सर्वत्र देखता है तथा प्रत्येक वस्तु को मुझ में देखता है, मैं उसकी दृष्टि से कभी ओझल नहीं होता, ना ही वह मेरी दृष्टि से कभी ओझल होता है. He who perceives me everywhere and beholds everything in me never loses sight of me, nor do I ever lose sight of him. This is so beautiful. If if you start to feel that God is always present with you, He's always watching you, He's always taking care of you, He's always protecting you, then there is so much comfort in your life. You feel so, the burden is removed. But the condition is that you got to feel Him everywhere. Now, to be able to perceive God's presence everywhere, the truth is God is present everywhere. So, how do we open our perception to His presence everywhere? And for that, all the practice that is being told to us in the previous shlokas, that has to be, put into practice. It has to be practical. And once we do that, then we will start to perceive God's omnipresence everywhere. And then this is the promise of the Lord. For the one who perceives me everywhere, I never lose sight of him. So it becomes our highest duty to actually be able to come to the state of God realization, because then we will feel free. Then we will know that God is always with us, and that we are always in God. And that is what this shloka means. Also, when we talk of drishti, or when we talk of seeing, so seeing God does not mean seeing through the physical eyes. Seeing means actually experiencing God. Experiencing the omnipresence of God, the vastness of God in your own self. And if even not that, then experiencing God in His 8 aspects, as joy, as love, as peace, as calmness, as power, as light, as Om, whatever. In whatever way you can experience the abstract omnipresence of God, the formlessness of God, the chaitanya or the consciousness of God, without a particular name, function, and form. The infinity, the formless infinity, the more you can experience that, the more you will know that you too are that. And then that experience, and that is because it is everywhere. So wherever you go, wherever you are, whether you are in a room or whether you are under the open sky, whether you are in one continent or another continent, or whether you are on this planet or another planet, if you have realized God is omnipresent, then that omnipresent realization will stay with you forever and forever. Okay. The Lord is ever alive to such a devotee, and the devotee is ever alive to the Lord. So, beautiful words by Master. I will read because Master's language is just breathtaking. He says, the divine lover beholds God through every window of thought and space, and the cosmic beloved beholds the devotee through every window of his omnipresent love. Enlocked in visions of love, God and the devotee enjoy unparted union. After uniting his soul to God, the yogi may still maintain a dual relation, the liberated devotee and God as the object of adoration. So what is said here is, so when we talk of duality, duality can be talked of at 2 levels. So one is the state of all of us where we are living, we are seeing everything as plus, minus, right, left, up, down, pleasure, pain, success, failure. So that kind of duality which we are living. The other kind of duality comes after realization. So once a person is enlightened, even that enlightened person wants to continue the I and thou relationship with God. So again, even after enlightenment, he continues to keep that I and you relationship, and that dual relationship continues, although he knows very well that there is no separation between him and God. This stanza of the Gita definitely points out that the illumined yogi does not lose his individuality of his soul. Instead, he finds his being extended into the being of spirit. The liberated devotee can watch God through every open niche of space, as the spirit can look at him through every pore of the sky. Such a liberated yogi never loses sight of God, nor does God ever lose sight of him. The true lover is God. We all are his beloved, mistakenly seeking love in impermanent human beings. When the devotee, by the practice of loving mortals truly, learns to love all beings, and by meditation learns to love God supremely, then and then only his longing for love is satisfied. So it's beautiful, he has explained. We all long for love. We want to love, we want to be loved. But he's saying that all mortal love it's impermanent, it changes, and it is not lasting, therefore it is not satisfying. So how do we get that love that our heart is seeking? So of course, because we are surrounded by humans and other beings, we start loving other humans unconditionally. We do not think whether such a such person is loving me or not. If I want to experience infinite love, then I have to unconditionally give my love to all. And first I give it to people in my close circle, and then I extend it to my friend circle, to my colleagues, then I extend it to strangers, I extend it to everyone on the planet, then beyond that even I extend it to all creatures. And that in that perfected love, that love is what is going to satisfy you. So if you think that one person or two people, or, you love them, you love your parents, that is enough. You love your children, that is enough. You love your partner, that is enough. It is a dissatisfactory kind of love. It is there, and it helps us to learn the lesson of love. But if we have not transcended our personal expectation and attachment, rather than actually loving, we are expecting from people, we are attached to people, we cannot let them go, we cannot let them live their lives, we cannot give them freedom. If we want to hold on to certain things, we want to hold on to people, then we will not experience this kind of love that is being talked here. For this kind of love, all you have to do is work with yourself. Just love the other without expecting anything in return. And as you expand your love, it will become omnipresent love. It may sound difficult, but if you were to just leave few attachments, so taste it, try it. Once you start to leave your attachment, once you start, you stop to expect, then you are happier in yourself. You feel freer in yourself. And slowly, you can remove your attachment to all people around you. And that does not mean that, in a worldly sense, you say, oh, you are not attached to your family, that is so bad. No, it's very good. If the fact that you love them unconditionally and you will do anything for them, and you wish them well, but you can set them free also at the same time. So you have to understand this difference. So if you love people unconditionally, and if you're not attached to them in a sense which is a binding attachment, which is a limiting attachment, then you have to shift. You have to shift into the blessedness of the love of the infinite. Because what will happen then? Then you will behold God everywhere, and God will behold you everywhere. And that's the beauty where we want to reach. The interesting thing is that all of us are children of God. Why does this shloka say that God will love, only those children who are loving him, otherwise he will not love the other children who are not looking at him? That is not true. It's just that the person who is more attuned with the infinite, he is going to be able to perceive the love of God more. God is not partial, God is impartial. It's just how much have we opened ourselves to receive and understand the love of God. It only depends on that. The more open and vast our consciousness is, the more we will be able to perceive the presence and love of God. So God is never partial. God loves all his children. We are all equally made of him. We are made in his image. We are his reflections. We represent him. He loves us all. But we have to love him back to maintain this beautiful connection where we want to behold him all the time, where we want to live in that love which is satisfying, all fulfilling, and which makes us complete, and which brings us to a point where we long for nothing else. We long for no person, we long for no thing, we long for no particular experience of this world, because we are rested and contented in the love of which is part of our own self. Shloka number 31. Sarvabhutashthitam yoma bhajatyekatvamasthita sarvatha vartamano api sayogi mai vartate. जो योगी मुझे सभी जीवों में व्याप्त अनुभव करता है, जो दिव्य एकत्व में स्थित रहता है, चाहे उसकी जीवन शैली जो भी हो, वह योगी सदा मुझ में स्थित रहता है. That yogi stays forever in me, who anchored in divine unity, whatever his mode of existence, realizes me as pervading all beings. This shloka is an extension of the previous one, and this addresses the question, where is God? If you ask the question, where is God? And how do I establish my oneness with him? And the answer is very clear. So God exists everywhere. There is nowhere or no point in time or space where God is not existing. There is no creature on the planet, whether it is a virus or a bacteria, or whether it is the largest animal, whether it is the blue whale, whether it is the five elements of which make up the earth and its life, whatever it is, every plant, every atom, every cell, everywhere God is pervading. And he is declaring that I am everywhere. So to behold him, instead of going out and working through the limited body, we work through the all-knowing intuition of our soul, and going within ourselves, we realize that he is present everywhere, also in us, most importantly in us. Once we realize our own divinity, then it is very easy to see divinity everywhere. So our main purpose lies in realizing who we are, and from that point, then we automatically understand what this life is, what the universe beholds, what is creation, and all the questions that you have in your mind but are never satisfied with the answers. You will get all those answers once you perceive yourself as the soul. Okay, so Master says, the yogi who has realized the oneness of all beings he forever lives in the Lord. Just like the compass needle always points towards the north direction. So such a yogi or such a sage, his mind is always in the Lord. It is never lost. And if we remember the poem God, 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 so Master says that in the battle din of life, let your war cry be God, God, God. And in everything you do, eating, sleeping, meditating, the needle of your attention should go towards God, God, God. And of course, when we say God, 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 we are talking of that formless infinite. And slowly by our practices, we are realizing that we are part of that formless infinite. Absorption in samadhi or work in the world does not make any difference to such a person, because he has gone into Sahaj Samadhi, which is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So whether he is acting or not acting in the world outwardly, he is always in a state of oneness with the Lord. The yogi must realize the cosmic drama as God's dream motion picture. He can everywhere behold God's light, no matter what part he plays in this movie of delusive shadows. The awakened yogi can perceive all the earthly dream objects to be woven in the consciousness of God. A yogi who is awake in God is ever united with him, whether in life or death, whether in the world of activity or in any other mode of existence. A yogi who has awakened himself from his cosmic dream can no longer sleep in delusion like the ordinary man. In the subconscious state of slumber, or the conscious state of wakefulness, or in the superconscious state of ecstasy, the yogi remains aware of God, the creator and dreamer of all. So this is what we want. In all states, we must be aware of God. So if you remember a story from the time of Paramahansa Yogananda, and so Dr. Lewis was his friend, and he was kind of trying to play a game with Master. So he thought, Dr. Lewis went to his room, he thought that Master is sleeping, so just to play a trick, he tied a thread of the door handle with the toe of Master, and then, but Master immediately, he knew what was happening. So even when it appeared that he was asleep, he was actually aware of God's omnipresence. He's always awake. So that doesn't mean that he's tired. Now he's not able to sleep. Oh my God, he must be so tired. No, his contact with the superconscious state always keeps him active and energetic and vitalized. A similar story is when, Paramahansa Yogananda as a student is living in Swami Sri Yukteswarji's hermitage, and early in the morning when Sri Yukteswarji used to snore a lot, and once then that snoring stopped, and then it appeared as if Sri Yukteswarji has gone into a breathless state, and master panicked because he was not aware of it too much at that time. So he actually went up to Sri Yukteswarji, put his finger in front of the nostrils of Sri Yukteswar, trying to feel out whether he's breathing or not, and was about to go out and call somebody when Sri Yukteswar just he smiled and he awoke, and he informed Yogananda what was happening. And so here again, this is the example that even though the body appears to be sleeping, yet the consciousness, the Chaitanya, is always awake and is always connected with the Lord. And this is a state of easy blessedness that the saints and the gurus talk about. And we all have to aim for this kind of an experience. Shloka number 32. This is a beautiful verse, and this verse has been talked about literally in every religion, and we will discuss it soon. So this says, Atmopamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukham sa yogi paramo mata. हे अर्जुन, सर्वोत्तम योगी वह है जो सुख में या दुख में अन्य लोगों के प्रति वैसा ही अनुभव करता है जैसा वह स्वयं के लिए करता है. O Arjuna, the best type of yogi is he who feels for others, whether in grief or pleasure, even as he feels for himself. So let us discuss this beautiful, beautiful verse. So, one who perceives the pain and pleasure of others and judges them as he perceives and judges his own pain and pleasure. So when the other person is in pain and in deep pain, when you can realize that pain in yourself, and you can feel when you can be happy in the happiness of others, and equal amount of happiness, is when your neighbor has won a lottery, you are as happy as you would be if you had won a lottery. If your neighbor says, can you help me, you help him with the same diligence and enthusiasm as you would help yourself. So this is the state where the yogi comes to, because he does not see that he is a different body and the neighbor is a different body. There is all one consciousness, and the sense of separateness is only a dream drama. It is because of the power of Maya that it appears to be so. And so the yogi will intimately feel the joy and sorrow of any individual, and also because his all pervasiveness is that kind of thing, as if the cream is present in milk. We cannot see the cream in the milk, but the cream is pervading the milk. Similarly, if you talk of a flower, honey is already pervading the flower, although you can not see the honey and the flower separately. So his consciousness is pervading everything, although on the outside, from the senses, it does not appear that this is happening. So his consciousness is all pervading. So can we actually feel the pain of others, and to what extent? And what should we do that their pain is relieved? Do we work as hard to relieve their pain as we work to relieve our own pain? If not, then this is a directional verse. It tells you where you need to be. And you can start by little small acts of kindness towards the other person. Start seeing the other person as your own self. What would you do if it was your own self that was on the other side of the transaction? And then behave accordingly. So I will read out, what the other religions say about this. Okay. Also, first I'll read out what Master says. He says, a person identified with the body feels its pain and happiness as his own. A yogi who is one with God knows the cosmos to be his body, feelings and the affliction and joys of all beings as his own. He tries to decrease their suffering and to increase their true happiness by helping them to realize God and to rise above the alternatives of pain and pleasure. The yogi who is free even while feeling the pleasures and pain of his body is one who can retain God consciousness. Further, he feels the pleasures and pains of others, yet beyond all experiences of duality, he realizes the cosmic blessedness of God, ever transcendently existent. Okay. So, what do religions say about our behavior with others, or our how we should love them? Starting from Hinduism. So, this is an excerpt from the Mahabharata. So, Valmiki, sorry, I'm forgetting the name, Ved Vyasa, sorry. So Ved Vyasa says, one should never do that to another which one regards as injurious to one's own self. This, in brief, is the rule of dharma. So if you think something will injure yourself, then don't do that thing with anybody else. If you think that there is some work that you do not want to do at all, then don't expect others to do that work. In Christianity, the New Testament, Jesus says, in everything, do to others as you would have them do unto you. For this is the law. In Islam, none of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Buddhism, hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. We have more coming up. Jainism. In happiness and suffering, in joy and grief, we should regard all creatures as our own self and should therefore refrain from inflicting upon others such injury as would appear undesirable to us if inflicted upon ourselves. Taoism. Regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain and your neighbor's loss as your own loss. Baha'i faith. Lay not on any soul a load which ye would not wish to be laid upon you, and desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself. Judaism. That which is hateful to you, do not do to another. That is the entire Torah. So Torah is the scripture for the Jews and says in one line, this is the entire scripture. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you. So check your speech, check your behavior, check your attitude, check your thoughts. Everything begins from thought. It's not advisable that on the outside you are kind and you are appearing very fancy and nice and lovely and commenting and complimenting, but in your heart, if you have any thought of vengeance or hatefulness or greed, all of that from others or with others, that is going to get to you what you are giving to them. So whatever you give out into the universe, you are the center of your universe. Whatever energy you are giving out to other people, think of it as energy that you have sent out into the vast infinite universe. That same energy will come back to you, because right now you are living in the ego. You are thinking, I am separate and this person is separate from me. Till you realize that you are the soul, that both of you are actually one, till that point, whatever you give to the universe, every thought, every action, every speech, everything will come back to your own ego. And therefore, it is so important to transcend the ego and to live in the expansiveness of truth. So, to become a Jivan Mukta is the goal of this life. And this is where, once you transcend the ego in this life, you stop creating further karma. Although you still have certain baggage of past karma which will be worked out, but that will happen soon with the help of the guru, with the practice of Kriya Yoga, that past karma will be burnt away. But as soon as you become a Jivan Mukta, you are not creating any fresh karmic cycle. So all of this that has been advised by the Gita is so practical, it is so useful. It is, the goal has been defined for us, the path has been defined for us, the help has been given to us in the form of the teachings, in the form of the Guru and his guidance and his grace. And even then, if we cannot put in that determined effort, then who are we? Then keep living in misery. That is the only choice. But if you want freedom from sorrow, if you want that state of blessedness, then you must do with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your intelligence, with all the entire strength of your body, all the available energy and attention, and with all sincerity of heart and love of heart. If you do what has been told, then it is guaranteed that we will attain enlightenment and liberation, and even in this life. With that thought, we will end today's class and we will share the power and the blessings of these teachings with souls everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, all hearts, and all souls. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all true hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.